Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
You really adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Bazinga.
2 in the box. Ready to go.
We be fast.
Take it slow.
Cool.
And we're recording. Welcome to the Mt.Geekmore podcast, your favorite podcast where we talk, argue, debate about your favorite top 4 Mount Rushmore, if you will, of your favorite pop culture subjects. Today's pop culture subject is, of course, superheroes that do not have a movie, and we would like to see a movie of them. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is Daniel DeBona.
Hello, howdy, y'all.
And we got David Ulloa.
Howdy.
And today, I think this is the first time. Is this the first time for Geekmore?
First time with you.
Yeah.
First time with you.
With me. Okay. So, welcome back, I guess, to the podcast. Ish from Better Let Me Tell You. From the Better Let Me Tell You podcast. Ish. Round of applause. Ish, you've done that. You did Geekmore before? What did you do before?
I know I did it with, I know Dave, you were on me and DJ. I think it was holiday movies.
Okay. Oh, was there like a...
My choices were Christmas carols, but must have been a holiday movie.
Okay. All right.
I think that was one of the ones that we revisited.
All right. Well, welcome. Welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and be talking about movies that we want to see, our superheroes that we want to see have their own movie. Their own movie being very specific. That's a very thing. Like, they need to be the star of this movie. With that said, how did you guys make your selections? We're going to start with you, Dave.
So I was very restrictive with myself because being a longtime comic book reader, there are so many heroes and anti-heroes and villains that I would love to see take the spotlight in a film. So I decided that my choices had to be comic book characters that had never appeared in a live-action feature film. And I did not choose any teams. So I think maybe on my...
You said teams?
No teams.
Oh, for a second, it sounded like you said teens, like teenagers. I'm like, what?
No,
okay.
teams.
Okay.
Teams.
All right.
No.
All right.
And actually, in my honorable mentions, no one has ever appeared in a film, and it's not a team either. So some of these are sort of deep cuts. Some of them on my proper list, there's one from every major, I think, comic book imprint. So there's a nice selection.
All right, right on, man. We're gonna go, Daniel. How'd you make your selection?
So I did kind of the same thing. I stuck with heroes specifically, and no teams, and that had not been portrayed on the big screen as of yet. That kind of helped me narrow down. I thought about kind of going with different imprints, and then as it just became the ones that I really, really wanted, I'm actually almost 75% one imprint here, depending on how you look at it. So that didn't really play out, but I thought about the potential for them becoming franchises for some of the people. I thought about how they would fit into the universes that exist already. There was one really was going to make but honestly, I think they would make a better TV show, so I bumped them down to honorable mentions. And I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm kind of with Dave. I feel like I've got a couple of deep cuts and then one really obvious one.
Okay. Ish, how did you make your selection, Ish?
So, I mean, I think it's like a hybrid of what these guys are already saying. I went first and foremost with, okay, who do I love, and then work my way back, whether or not they've had a movie. I did go the team route for one selection, one honorable mention, and it's not really a team, but kind of, sort of. Like, I worked a team into one of my selections as a backdoor like expansion into what could potentially become a franchise and things like that. I don't know. Well, actually, I really stuck to 3 publishers. I'm literally looking at my list right now, but they're not necessarily. I think, with the exception of my number 1, the others are not obvious necessarily. So outside of this, we've all been to Comic-Con together. This, this nerdery that is here will probably be like, of course, but.
All right, that's great. Weird that you went the choice for the backdoor route. That's weird.
Well, you gotta go with what you know.
I pretty much look, man. I don't give a fuck. I used to be this, and I still am to a large extent. I'm like, hey, I like both of the major publishing houses, and I'm a fan of both, and that's true. But for recent years, I've been leaning more towards one more so than the other. And this whole list is just one publishing house, so I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't give a shit, and I'm not even apologizing about it.
Who cares?
Yeah, I'm not apologizing about it. For the most part, the selections that I have made, to my knowledge, they have not even been on TV, which is another restriction that I made, because technically this topic is about their own movie. It didn't say anything about not appearing on TV anywhere. So right. I went with the route of they haven't even been on TV. Live action, obviously, cartoons, animated as a whole, you're never going to be able to pick something if you eliminate animated. But to my knowledge, if that's wrong, if later on I make a selection and be like, no, he was actually in the TV show in 1974, I'm gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. That doesn't count. I don't care. But to my knowledge,
why are you singling me out there?
I was going to say, that was a pretty direct call out.
Just saying. You don't understand. But it was a German film that went straight to snuff. Hold on, give me a second. That's cool, Mama.
And now...
Mama, amor.
I'm sorry.
Love you.
Love you.
Te amo. Buenas noches. That's like ADHD at its finest. That's the definition of ADHD. If they look that up, you see my daughter's face like, hey. But she's not looking at the camera. She's like looking up like, what's going on? All right. So with that said, that's one of the restrictions I made for myself is they can't be even on TV. They can't have been even on TV, again, to my knowledge. So let's get this going.
With the 4th pick.
Number 4.
Round 4.
I'm in no mood for your wives' crack. Let's get it on.
All right, Dave, starting from clockwise from my screen, we're going to start with you, David. What's your number 4 selection?
My number 4 is the one Marvel Comics character on my list, and it is Richard Rider, Nova.
Nice. Honorable mention, and just barely got edged out by one for me.
All right.
Yeah, he is such a great character. Obviously, we're familiar with the Nova Corps from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. They are, I guess, for the DC fans out there, they're the equivalent of the Green Lantern Corps. Mm-hmm. They are the space cops of Marvel. But Richard Rider is a particularly heroic character. He's oftentimes depicted as kind of like the Jesus Christ figure in Marvel Comics, like to the degree that during the Annihilation storyline, he's the guy who sacrifices himself. He throws himself into the negative zone to close up the portal and save the entire multiverse.
So he threw himself into Twitter just like that, just going into Twitter. just threw himself into Twitter like
Yep, that's it.
And then he disintegrated in sad comments. Right.
He's as like himself. He's like a very down to earth guy. Like he's not a particularly
pretentious,
in your face, flashy, pretentious guy, right? He's not like Hal Jordan is,
or Captain America,
in the Green Lantern.
Hal was a fighter pilot.
Right. I'm just gonna skip over Neri's Damasri here.
Captain America is not pretentious. He's not pretentious. Okay. Let's move on.
Let me just have a drink here. Glug 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 glug. So I think that he, along with the cast of characters that go along with the cosmic side of Marvel, would make for a great film, but also a great film franchise. Like, you have so much that you can explore there. You can bring the Guardians of the Galaxy into it if this were part of the MCU. It's something that I think they haven't really explored the cosmic side as much as they can. With the exception of Guardians of the Galaxy, we really haven't gotten much. There's Thor and there's Asgard, but Thor always ties into what's going on Earth, on Midgard. So it would be great to see some of that stuff. And so Richard Rider, Nova.
I like that pick a lot. I actually, there was a long time where I was like, yeah, I'm going to have, not only am I going to have Richard Rider, but I know Dave's going to have him too. But my favorite thing about the idea of Richard Rider is you can go two ways with it. You could do a Nova Corps movie, or you could use it to kind of do a New Warriors movie. And you could do Richard Rider on Earth. You could add Night Thrasher and Speedball and some stuff like that if you really wanted to. New Warriors was one of the reasons that I actually made a no groups rule, because I really want a New Warriors movie. But
you can make the New Warriors kind of like the Goonies, and have them like just learning their powers, and have really more be about a coming of age story. And I think it would be fantastic.
And I like I said, I like that pick a lot. And honestly, even just outside the Richard Rider pick, there's a decent amount of potential for a Sam Alexander pick.
He's so good.
If you wanted to do a Nova pick and have him partner up with Tom Holland, and that would probably be incredible if you cast Sam Alexander well. But yeah, no, I think the Nova pick is great, man. I like it a lot.
I think Asa Butterfield would be a great Sam Alexander.
And Alexander's the latest Nova, right?
Right. The black helmet one.
He's Hispanic, right?
Yes. Yeah. His mom is Hispanic.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. But yeah,
no. In Marvel's long tradition of only half minority.
kind of a minority. Yeah.
Miles Morales on one side.
Well, but he's like, both halves of him are minorities, right?
Yeah. But somehow the Spanish, I didn't catch on. Somehow, living in the Bronx, not a lot of Spanish speaking for Miles Morales. Cinematic language.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that's a great pick, man. DeBono, what do you got? What's your number 4?
For my number 4, like I said, I decided to go with one that I just think that this could make a really visually stunning movie. I think that if done well, it could be a whole lot of fun. It's a character created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in 1965, and it is Khazar of the Savage Land.
Oh, love that pick.
Damn, that's a deep cut.
I think that if done well, you could make this amazing Marvel Universe Tarzan movie with Khazar, and it could be gorgeous and it could be a lot of fun. Khazar is just a very exciting character. For anybody who doesn't know, like I said, he's essentially Tarzan. He's this super rich guy from London whose parents are killed. He ends up kind of orphaned in the Savage Land. He gets raised by a mythical, magical, saber-toothed tiger named Zabu. And he just kind of becomes the de facto defender of the Savage Land. He's a guy who's had his own title at times, shows up a lot in X-Men, and they'll always kind of throw him into summer events, like to be like, let's check in with Khazar and see how this is affecting the Savage Land. But there have been some really great storylines that have been told. His brother being the Plunderer and some stuff like that have really led to some amazing Khazar storylines. By introducing the Savage Land, you open up just a whole new world of stuff. The Savage Land has got dinosaurs, for anybody who may not know that. So one thing I looked at as I was making these picks is, okay, so where do you go if this were to take off? And with Khazar, you have the options of adding Shanna the She-Devil. You have the options of adding Devil Dinosaur. This is very much something that could be conducive to the Marvel Universe while still allowing itself to just grow and be awesome in what it is, because it's so far away from everything. You can tell Khazar's stories in a way that has very little, if any, effect on everything else that's going on, kind of like they started off doing with Guardians of the Galaxy. Nothing that happened in Guardians of the Galaxy really mattered to Earth because they were so far away. Even though the Savage Land is on Earth, it's not near New York and San Francisco. So you can make a Khazar movie. You can, cast somebody really athletic. We all know Marvel's got an affinity for dudes with their shirts off. I'm here for it. Khazar doesn't own any shirts. It's a really fun character. I think there's a lot to be explored there. And like I said, you go through the history of Khazar, and he's interacted with everybody. They've introduced him in some of the cartoons and things like that. I think Kevin Sorbo even voiced him one time on something, which Kevin Sorbo,
he pretty much is Khazar.
I was about to say, Kevin Sorbo in his prime would be like the best casting of Khazar. But it's a lot of fun. There's a lot to it. It's real easy to introduce him. It would be easy to kind of do a short origin story that it just ends with him kind of becoming the defender of the Savage Land. I think it's one where people would really enjoy it, even though it's not a name that maybe your typical non-comic book fan knows or has even run across. But I think it's one that could definitely take off, and I honestly just think it could be a ton of fun.
Actually, I think it could even be an interesting, we're talking about setting up the hero for their own movie, but it could be an interesting setting for an X-Men movie, because so many different stories take place in the Savage Land. And, you can almost introduce it that way, and then...
Ooh, Zac Efron could play Khazar. Just saying.
I was actually thinking of I don't know how old he is now, but I think he's right around my age. So he might be a little on the older side. But the guy who played Aquaman in Smallville, if he's still in the shape that he was in back when he was Aquaman in Smallville,
he's playing Hawk on DCU's Titan series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. See, I don't have the DCU, so I didn't know that he was on there. But that was, like I said, I had started fan casting when I was killing time before this, and that was one guy I kind of came back to. But like I said, I think it would just be a fun one. I think that's one where they could really go wild with it and not be like, well, because everybody's, well, why didn't Iron Man? And then so-and-so just goes, well, not Iron Man now, but, why didn't the Avengers just go stop everything? And it's like, well, they don't even know the Savage Land exists, so we'll get there eventually.
That's cool. All right. Ish, what do we got? Number 4.
So I went a little more under the radar for my 4th.
More under the radar than Khazar? Wow.
You know what? True. This might be slightly higher on the radar than Khazar.
All right.
I went with it's an Image comic created by Robert Kirkman, Invincible.
Oh, great. Honorable mention.
So I don't know. Actually, I'm looking at your faces. I know you're familiar with it. So in a nutshell, it's the story of a kid who grows up with a superhero father, regular mother, and turns out he's got superpowers as well. He becomes a hero, eventually finding out plot twists. And the series has been over for a while now, and the twist was about 10 years ago. So
yeah,
spoiler alert, or whatever. His father turns out was sent ahead of an alien invasion to take over Earth, and he's been gaining the planet's trust, and so there's just all this space drama, family drama, teen drama, because he's in high school, and then I remember I think his girlfriend also has superpowers, and so it's almost like tailor made for just every single, and this is where I put my marketing hat on, right? For every freaking demographic, because it's just like you've got the summer blockbuster of it all, but you could have the romance angle, you could have the young kids, you could have the family element of it. And not to mention it's Robert Kirkman, so he created The Walking Dead.
So everybody's gonna die, is what you're saying. Everybody dies.
Did I forget to mention that his father, Omni-Man, was a zombie? That's whole agent, just zombies.
Shout out to his dad for being a zombie and still fucking a chick. Damn, that's baller, dude.
Her standards are very low.
Yeah. Wow.
But I think I know it ran for over 100 issues, so there's definitely a lot of source material. But what I also liked about it is the fact that since it does have an ending, it doesn't seem like something that, we're just going to go on forever. Like, especially now when, you're casting, you want to cast somebody young to carry a franchise, but they get too old. Well, this has a beginning, middle, and end where he's not just perpetually, 12 years old. Like, eventually Spider-Man has to be recast because Spidey's always in high school. So it could lend itself to that too. I thought it could be an interesting, you've got the space element of it, you've got superheroics. It kind of feeds into a lot of different potential genres.
And despite all that, very grounded.
Yeah, like it's got a Spider-Man feel to it, like in how old he is and kind of how he lives his life, and he's trying to do the whole thing, which is one place where I think that it picks up and being very lending itself well to something that's relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great pick. Image Comics, man. I remember when they first came out, and I was like trying to buy all of them, and then eventually, like 2 or 3 months into their first run, their runs would be delayed so much that I'd be like, I'm not collecting this shit. Like, it just had that problem.
I remember.
It's got so many amazing names tied to the beginning of Image Comics too. That's just incredible. Like when you go back and you look, and you've got
McFarlane and Lee and Capullo and
Silvestri.
Oh man,
Mark Silvestri was there at the beginning.
Personally, he's my favorite of that bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to think. I mean, I know, obviously Jim Lee is, head of DC Comics now. But other than that, I can't think of anybody who's still really involved in the industry.
McFarlane, I think, might be the only guy.
But even him, it's like toys, really, he's focusing.
Yeah, he kind of ramped up Spawn a couple years ago, but... but you know what? They did have Rob Liefeld, and
I know. I was just not going to mention that name. There was another one I'm trying to. Eric Larson is the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah, can't get into his art, but Will Sportasio. Will Sportasio is a great artist.
Yeah. Just the beginning of Image Comics. Not.
My number 4 is again. Once I mention who they're going to be, you are going to know the publishing house that I'm sticking to. So it's not going to be a secret. But my number 4 is Batman. Oh, they've already made a movie of him, have they? Oh, I didn't realize they made.
I seem to recall one.
Was there only one? Oh no, 27. 27. All right.
This one was good.
This one was good. That one was good. How many are left?
Nice
22.
Callback.
Fucking A. No. Look, my number 4, and I'll tell you after when we get to honorable mentions. I'll tell you what bumped my number 4 to now get to my number 4. But my number 4 is Zatanna. I think is
Zatanna's a great pick.
Can I table?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Wow. Wow. Did not see that one coming.
That's what he said. All right. So we have number 4. It's funny because the reason I kept talking is because I was like, well, nobody else has picked one that's semi-popular, and Zatanna's popular is pretty fucking popular.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, like everybody else is picking under the radar shit. I'm totally gonna find picking a popular pick, but no, I was not. All right, so for number 4s, we had Nova, Kazar, Invincible, and Zatanna. So let's move on to number 3.
Round 3.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is.
All right. Number 3. Dave, what do we got for number 3, bro?
All right. So my number 3 is it's probably a close call between it and my number 2, but my number 3 is most likely the deepest cut on my list. And he's a hero from the 2000 AD comic imprint over in good old jolly old England. And it's Johnny Alpha from the Strontium Dog comics.
sir, and that is not easy to do when it comes to comics.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, dude, you got me too.
Johnny who?
Okay, so Johnny Alpha.
Alpha. Bien conocido en
And
su
actually,
casa, bro.
Yes. Oh, I know. This is a very deep cut, and I figured that was going to happen. So I picked this out because I've got a trade paperback here that the viewers, listeners can't see, but I'm showing these guys of his first maybe like 3 years of mission. So Johnny Alpha is just about the coolest fucking, well, I can't say that anymore because the Mandalorian exists, but he's just about the coolest fucking bounty hunter that you can think of. All right. So
have you heard of my friend Dog? Exactly. Thank you.
Plus, look, I don't know who Johnny Alpha is. I don't know who Johnny Alpha is, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Dog's wife, bigger titties.
R.I.P. Queen.
Well, not more she dead, but
so he's from the future, right? This takes place. I think it's in the 23rd or 24th century. So we're talking about many hundreds of years in the future. This is, even though it's taking place in the same universe as Judge Dredd, it's well after the Judge Dredd stories take place. And he's a bounty hunter, and these bounty hunters at this time are called strontium dogs, and they hunt down any number of villains all across the galaxy, right? But he has a mutation, right? And so mutants at this time, their mutations can either be what a probably closer to real life mutation is and leave them like severely deformed, or you can have something that is just a slight deformity but gives you some sort of superpower similar to the X-Men. And so that's what he has, where he has X-ray vision, but this X-ray vision allows him to hear your thoughts. And so he kind of focuses this with this helmet that he wears that's got a crystal right up front. But that's not even the coolest thing about him, because the coolest thing about him is the fact that he travels with a time-displaced Viking called Wolfgar, right? And
this is writing itself.
I've got questions.
And an alien that looks like he could have come from the Jim Henson Muppet Lab, who's got 4 hearts, right? Who's the most sympathetic alien. Like he never wants harm to come to anyone, right?
Got 4 hearts.
Exactly. And then even cooler than that is Johnny Alpha's like gadgetry, because this being in the future, they've got all sorts of like really amazing like tech at their disposal. So he has a wristlet that basically lets him do what if you played Sands of Time, the Prince of Persia game, it allowed you to do, which is rewind the last couple seconds and play him over again. So on a number of occasions, he'll find his target and he'll go to interrogate him and it turns violent, right? And he's like, nah, let's play this out again. And so he just rewinds a couple seconds, walks back into the room and shoots the guy before he has a chance to do anything. And then the coolest weapon in his arsenal is a time grenade. You throw it at your opponent, and the guy gets basically transported through time, but not space, X number of hours, right? Now, here's the thing. If you're on a planet, that planet is moving, right? Because it is orbiting its star. And so whenever that guy reappears, he reappears into the vacuum of space and dies.
Seems like there might be an easier way to do that.
But is there a cooler way to do it? And that's kind of what the Strontium Dog comics are. Is it's Judge Dredd level absurdity, but with a little bit more of a sense of humor.
Okay. It's a bold move, Colin. Let's see if it works out.
And I personally love it. It was created by the same guys who created Judge Dredd, Wagner, and Esquerra. So you have that same sense of storytelling, the same like scope. Where
who years it from?
It's the late 70s is when it originated.
Made his first appearance in 78.
There you go.
What I'm saying.
Yeah. He started in a magazine called Starlog and then went from there very quick. Only his first story arc was in Starlog. And then he, after they went out of business, it was taken over by 2000 AD.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a very 2000 AD. I really wanted to put a 2000 AD character, and I didn't know whether to put him or Rogue Trooper. But I think many more people are aware of who Rogue Trooper is. I mean, he's got a video game, you know. So
not anybody, not anybody in this chat. Nope.
Okay.
He could have been Rogue Trooper.
Either way, I think Johnny Alpha is the better pick. And he's so weird. Him and Wolfgar together are just they are like a buddy cop duo made in like space buddy cop duo heaven.
How does a Viking get time displaced?
I wish I could tell you. I don't fucking remember. I read a lot of this when I was in college, and I don't remember a lot of college.
Dave doesn't remember last week. He's gonna remember college.
I reread the first story arc. I think it was like 2 weeks ago when we first started discussing doing this, and it holds up really well. It holds up really, really well.
Sure.
All right. I'm sure it does, buddy. DeBona, what do you got for your number 3?
My number 3 is a guy who was first introduced in 1998, created by Warren Ellis. Absolutely, I think one of the coolest guys out there, just doing the damn thing, and it's the Midnighter. The Midnighter made his debut on Wildstorm, which is now a DC imprint, but at the time was not. And he started off with Stormwatch. He moved to the Authority. He is essentially, in Warren Ellis' own words, he's the Shadow if John Woo made a Shadow movie. He's a great detective. He's super violent and loves that about himself. He has no qualms about killing. He's still not an anti-hero though, because he just, I don't know, maybe because he kills, you might use the word anti-hero, but that's kind of the way that Wildstorm and Stormwatch and a bunch of that stuff went. Just an unbelievable character. He's a human, but he has a bunch of enhanced physical attributes is the word I'm trying to say, because of different things that he has built into his body. Like he has a second heart, and he's got a computerized, almost neural network. One of the coolest things about the Midnighter is the fact that it was a very big thing throughout the course of the Authority and Stormwatch, where he would look at a fight or a battle that was about to take place, and he could tell you how it was going to play out. And they would refer to it. They said he had like a combat computer in his head, and he would anticipate
like
everything that was going to. Yes, kind of like how the Sherlock Holmes things played out. And so he would anticipate, okay, I'm going to do this. They're going to do that. He's going to do this. He would play it out like an entire chess game in his head before the fight even took place. He's been a part of a lot of different storylines. He doesn't even necessarily have an alias. They think his name is Lucas Trent, but they're not 100% sure. He's been a government agent. He is, like I said, he's been part of Stormwatch. He's been part of the Authority. At some point in the early 2000s, I believe he had his own series shortly. And just an incredible character who's very funny, very sarcastic, just sadistic and violent, just enough that it would definitely need to be a rated R movie. And also like a character who is openly gay, with another hero in the same group named Apollo. But what's always intrigued me is their relationship has always felt very real. It never felt like they were making it strained for the storylines of making it strained. They weren't making it super good just to be like, hey, look, we've got a gay character and they're two gay characters and their love is awesome and nothing ever goes wrong. They had a very realistic feeling relationship, which gay or straight just doesn't seem to happen much. Everything is so many tropes. And Midnighter and Apollo actually had what just felt like a genuine relationship, which I think could also play out very well. And, even if you just introduce Apollo in this movie, whether or not they're a couple, but he's a very interesting character who's, like I said, very funny, very violent. I think it lends itself well to the current DC universe and the ways that they do things right now.
Which
if they wanted
to not connected at all.
Huh?
Not connected at all.
But just it lends itself well to being this dark story about this vigilante guy, and I think that it could be a lot of fun. I think that they would, if you could get Warren Ellis on board for it, that would be incredible. But just a lot of great things that have happened. One time he went back through time to kill Hitler with a bomb that was attached to his second heart. They do all sorts of really weird and bizarre things. He's got super speed. He's been pictured as having super speed at times because of all his enhancements. A lot of fun with this character, and I think that it could be a great dark movie that's deserving of being a very dark movie, whereas sometimes the darkness is kind of forced on it.
Yeah, it would have to be. I mean, it couldn't even be a PG-13. Like it's R and a hard R.
Yes, it would be a hard R movie, but
a band trailer.
Yes, but I definitely think there's a lot of great story to tell here. There's a lot that you can get done. Plus, like I said, in thinking in terms of how the movies keep going, you've got Apollo you can introduce. You've got these teams of Stormwatch and the Authority that you can introduce, which allows you to introduce a whole bunch of other characters. And there very much is franchise potential here centered around a very great character.
Great pick, man.
Yeah, I never heard of that pick. That sounds great. Never heard of him at all. I like the fact that I've never heard of any of the characters that you guys have picked except for Nova. We started off with Nova, and I'm like, all right, I know that one. And then everybody else has been like, I don't know who the fuck that is. But this is great because that's what the whole point of this whole thing is, to have movies that of characters that maybe we've never heard of. And then my list. Ish, what do we got? What do you got for number 3, man?
All right, so for number 3, I'm going with a kind of, it could be considered a cheat. It could be considered low-hanging fruit. It is my team entry. I'm actually going to go with Marvel's Young Avengers.
Okay.
Okay. If I were picking teams, so good. So good.
Do a lot worse than the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, I mean, the name might say, oh, well, it's the Avengers when they were kids. No. It's basically to varying degrees, sidekicks, although Marvel's not very big on sidekicks, but the legacy heroes, I think, is a better way of looking at it, of a lot of the bigger name superheroes, like Captain America. There's, what is it, Patriot?
Patriot. It's Isaiah Bradley's grandson.
Yeah.
Right. So it's Patriot, and, you've got Wiccan, and
Speed.
And Speed, which are the twins from Vision and Wanda, Scarlet Witch. You've got Hawkeye, who is, Kate Bishop is just basically like, hi, I'm a debutante who knows how to use a bow and arrow, and I'm going to fight crime. And I'm like, okay, you look good in purple. Thatcher.
You just described Hawkeye, too. He's like, I'm good with arrows. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, sure.
And you could have picked a weapon that's more updated, but fuck it. Let's go ahead and choose some shit that's been outdated for the last 150 years.
You gotta go with what you know, man.
Also, I think the bow and arrow you can get through more metal detectors. Right. So, it might work out. Thatcher is the daughter of Scott Lang.
Kathy.
And I feel like I'm missing someone.
There's the younger version of Vision. It's the Vision software repurposed and then made to look younger. but sentient.
Yeah, sentient, and there's Miss America Chavez, and I mean, so it's again when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, okay, it's Young Avengers, so Avengers, everybody knows. You put Avengers in there, people will automatically at least look, right? But then it's young heroes. There's a bunch of interpersonal stuff. There's this other Captain Marvel or Marvel Boy.
Marvel Boy. Marvel Boy.
Is it Novar? Yeah. Everybody up in there is having sex with everybody because you got some gay characters, some bi characters, some non-binary. I mean, everybody's just putting it where it goes. But that's what happens when you got a bunch of 20-somethings.
I like the fact that you mentioned everybody except for straight people. You're like, whatever. Like, you're like just like gay, but you know, you're like gay, bi, binary.
Who's even straight anymore?
Not me.
That's so pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But the cool thing, and so again, you get to play in the sandbox, right? In the same sandbox as the Marvel Universe, you can make those references. I don't know if maybe now with WandaVision coming out, they may make references to the twins, because I know it's basically her like going nutso, I guess, and creating things. There's been rumors for a while now that Kate Bishop has been going to be showing up in the Avengers movies. I think they actually introduced Cassie Lang in the last Ant-Man movie,
and I think Kate Bishop is going to be in the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus.
Right. So it may be happening, but I think it's an interesting thing because it's familiar, but it's new. Whereas by the time we met all these other heroes, we got origin stories, but they were adults. Robert Downey Jr. was like 50 by the time he started doing Iron Man, so you never got that sense of like these people really have to set out and prove themselves, and nobody's going to believe them, and it's a ragtag team. By the time that the Avengers got together on screen, it was kind of like, well, you've got two secret agents, a nuclear scientist, a Norse god, and a billionaire. Of course, they're going to get together and fight crime.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be a ragtag team when you have a god on your team. When you have an actual god on your team. It's a ragtag team. Is it though? Yeah.
It's about rags. But it's a team that hasn't really been beaten into the ground yet. Actually, I think right now, is it Hulkling? I don't even know if that's the name that he can play anymore.
Well, Hulkling was he was one of the like originals.
Yeah, and it turns out he is the son of the Kree and the Shi'ar that they're always fighting? The Kree and the Shi'ar, and now he's taken basically the throne, and he's coming to invade Earth. So, again, a lot of things that are...
Kree, Skrull. Sorry, Skrull.
Skrull, he's a Skrull, that's right. Skrull.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are just kind of like baked in, that if this does become a franchise, you can have him do a heel turn somewhere down the line, and, play that out. And it's not just like, well, we've got these characters that you've known forever and ever and ever. You pull them in with the familiarity, but then you twist it up.
Plus, in the beginning, there was Iron Lad, who ended up being like Kang the Conqueror, misplaced in time. It's one of the things that was always fascinating about the Young Avengers comic book was when, as things it started in early 2000s, and as things progressed, there was so much diversity, like you were talking about that, and it never felt forced because they were kids and because you were watching them grow. These were characters that they could still mold in any way, and they did make it a very diverse team as opposed to just being like, oh yeah, by the way, Iceman's gay now, and like that's a thing. Like it was easy to be like, okay, well yeah, they're gay. They always have been. I mean, they've only been around for 5 years. Like we just didn't get around to telling you that part yet.
They didn't really have a long issue run. I mean, I think it's like 3 trade paperbacks, maybe at that. And,
if that, yeah.
And they're still, the characters are still kicking around, and there's still a lot of love for them. So
their stories, remember, were really shaped out of the fallout of Civil War.
And Avengers Disassembled.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was. They were a team where Vision had been programmed with who they all were. And so when he was destroyed during Avengers Disassembled, his AI went out and sought them out and brought them together because there were no Avengers anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I love about them so much is that, they kind of like pull it together when the Avengers can't.
Right.
It might be
You know,
for them now.
When the boomers have fucking destroyed everything, you know, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna make this shit better. Leave it to the young folk.
Yeah, I'm still old. I'm not a boomer, but I'm still old. I can't do shit.
Oh, I'm still
Yeah.
You're the oldest of all four of us, so
I think you are.
I'm 38. So,
but you don't look it.
Ish, are you older? Are you older than 38? Ish.
I'm 40. I'll be 41 this year.
Oh, yeah, I'll be 39 this year. That's right. All right, so Young Avengers, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, when you mentioned Young Avengers, I understood that reference.
Hey!
Yeah.
They're back in the game.
All right. My number 3 is Nightman. No, I'm kidding. My number 3.
Neary's just got a list of like most obscure DC characters on his iPad right now.
From Malibu Comics.
Did you hear? Did you know about? Did you ever watch the Nightman TV show?
I think I may have seen one episode.
It was the absolute worst hot piece of garbage that there ever was made, and that's saying a lot.
Is that the guy with the giant cape?
That's the
that
guy.
does all this stuff.
He's a saxophone player, and he's a very popular saxophone player in San Francisco that gets struck by lightning while he's playing in a trolley. Right, and then when he gets struck by lightning, it causes him to have special powers, which include being able to tie into some. It's like a radio-like frequency where he could just like gets like radio frequency. And to quote the Wikipedia page here, it says, "Who is struck by lightning while playing inside a cable car. As a result, his brain gains radio-like properties, able to quote pick up certain mental frequencies. He's now tuned in on the quote frequency of evil, which enables him to hear evil thoughts and doers wherever he goes. He wears a bulletproof bodysuit as well as anti-gravity belt that enables him to fly, a cape of holographic camouflage style, and he's always driving around in his PT fucking Cruiser. That's his car." Just going to go ahead and put that out there. Which I don't know what's more ridiculous, the fact that there's a superhero driving around a PT Cruiser, or the fact that that superhero is in San Francisco, where we all know you don't need a fucking car in San Francisco. It's much easier to get public transportation.
That's the only time in San Francisco history that anybody has ever gotten superpowers instead of gonorrhea by putting something in their mouth on a trolley.
That's hilarious.
Oh man.
Yeah, no,
Great
that's
pick,
that
Gary.
is no, that is not my pick. That is not my pick.
No. Go on a high note, dude.
That is not my pick. So I was gonna save this guy for my number 2, but because Dave brought up who did he brought up? Johnny Alpha. I will go tit for tat and say, you have a bounty hunter, I have a bounty hunter. So my number 3 is my man Lobo.
Very good pick.
Does anybody have him? All right, good.
No.
All right, so Lobo is this intergalactic bounty hunter who is the last of his race, and he's a DC Comics property. He has super strength, and he has a bunch of shit. He's super fucking cool. He's the definition of an anti-hero. He don't give a fuck about killing, but he does have a strict moral code. So he has a moral compass, but it's his moral compass, and if he decides that you deserve to die, then you were gonna die. I love what the little that we've seen of him. My introduction to him was through Superman the Animated Series. That was my introduction to him.
Oh, wow.
Who the fuck is this? And then I would do more research on him and found out, man, this guy is great. I found out that later on, I found out that the creators of Lobo, and again, I'm not you guys have all these names all fucking locked and loaded. I'm like, nah, I don't know. But I found out that the what?
I think it was Keith Giffen, one of the creators of Lobo.
And Rob Liefeld, no?
Roger Slifer, actually, who created the Omega Men also. Which I love.
Yeah.
That's why I know that name.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's not bring Lightfoot into this shit. So I love the fact that they created him as a parody to the super dark, edgy characters that Marvel was doing. and it did not work. The parody didn't work because he was immediately, from what Wikipedia says, immediately beloved by everybody, and it caught on like wildfire, which I think is hilarious. I think that's hilarious. Where they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be so stupid. We're making fun of these idiots across the hall," and they're like, "Oh man, that's great. You're doing that thing that the guys from across the hall are doing." You're like, "No, what?" Oh fuck! And then it just became this thing. But I love the fact that that he is who he is. For a while there was a rumor that The Rock was going to play him in a movie, and
that would be great.
I thought that would have been fantastic. It's not going to happen now because he's obviously going to play Black Adam. I say obviously like it's already happened. But so that's a thing. But I don't know who I would cast. Zac Efron, I guess I would cast for Lobo. But Lobo's a huge dude, man. Like by all, there's no. There's what?
Yeah, his Deathstroke fell through. What's the name of the guy who plays him on Krypton?
I haven't seen the show, man. I was on cruise ships when Krypton was, and I didn't have access to Sci-Fi Channel.
The guy who plays him on Krypton is decent, but he's not as big as I feel like he should be.
Yeah, I feel like this guy's got to be big. I feel like he's got to be like a Bautista, kind of fucking big, like that kind of big.
I was actually going to suggest him, even though it's impossible with his Marvel contract.
And does Lobo have a motorcycle that he has a motorcycle, right? But isn't it pulled by dolphins?
I don't remember that.
No, but he does have dolphins.
But he has dolphins. Okay, that's what it is.
Where he lives or whatever, he has like space dolphins.
There we go. I knew there were space dolphins.
But I just love this fucking character. He drinks and smokes and does all this shit. He's like the biker bounty hunter. He is Renegade of space, which I wouldn't be opposed to casting him, Renegade himself. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Lorenzo
Lamas. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to casting him. Bit of a typecasting, I guess.
Lorenzo Lamas is like 60 though.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some people, dude. Fucking J-Lo's 50. Come on, man. People could do, get in shape. Sure. Says the fat guy on a microphone. Lobo.
Do you guys remember back in the 90s, Marvel and DC had a crossover event called Amalgam? They called it Amalgam Comics. Neri, I think you would get a real kick out of this because they crossed Lobo with Howard the Duck. They called it Lobo the Duck. And
I do remember that.
Absurd.
I remember seeing a picture of that. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
It's excellent. I'll let it to you next time I head over there.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I do remember Malcolm. No, dude, that's such that was a pick where I actually did think about Lobo, but then I was like, is he a villain? Like, is he an anti-hero? And so I went with Midnighter as my really super violent pick. But man, the thing with the Lobo is if they could do it, maybe not with the level of absurdity that we get in Deadpool, but like damn close.
You got to bring it down a couple notches.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. Lobo's supposed to be that level of like Deadpool crazy type of shit, like
right. It could be so much fun.
Like Lobo's not self-aware like that.
No, he doesn't break the fourth wall.
Lobo's not playing it up for anyone.
Right.
Deadpool plays it up for you. He wants to make sure that you, the reader or the viewer, is having a good time. Lobo's just being himself.
Yeah.
In some ways, he's even crazier.
Yeah, I think, and he's the last of it. I think there's a whole thing you could play. You could get a real deep story arc out of that whole. He's the last of his kind of deal. He's the last of his species, and there's a lot for that.
And like I was saying, there's a lot of potential there for an Omega Men team up if it were to do well and you looked into doing sequels. And Omega Men has seen some amazing storylines, some toe-to-toes with the Green Lanterns and some things like that over the years. So that it could lead to something very big and very cool.
Yeah, man. You know who else would have been good? Momoa would have been good for this fucking role, but he can't now. But he would have been good for that role too. All right, so
both.
So
you need another jacked Asian Pacific Islander. That's where we're going, right?
Exactly. We're running.
Isn't Reigns? Don't we have Reigns still? He's not attached
There
to him.
we go. Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
There we go.
Problem solved.
All right, so our number threes were Johnny Alpha, Midnighter, Young Avengers, and Lobo.
Round 2.
Dose, the sequel to Uno.
All right, number 2. David, please, let it be somebody I know.
Okay. Well, you're not going to know my number 2 either.
I remember you saying, I think my number 3 and 2, I think they're both deep cuts, but number 2, like I was like, oh, never mind then. All right.
So my number 2,
Beta Man,
is a. Wait, did I send you my list? My number 2 is a Dark Horse comics character who has had surprisingly little published, but is my favorite hero comic book character of the last 20 years. Of any of the new heroes that have been put out, he is my favorite. And it's Black Beetle.
Oh.
Anyone familiar with this guy?
Yes.
I know Blue Beetle. I don't know Black Beetle.
Right. So you know Blue Beetle. And actually, DC also has a Black Beetle, but this is not the DC Black Beetle.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one who goes toe-to-toe with Booster Gold. No? Oh,
No.
then I don't know.
No, that's why I made sure to say Dark Horse. So he's a Dark Horse comics character. Now, someone who you might know is a writer artist named Francisco Francavilla.
Mm-hmm. So from he's done some Detective Comics stuff.
Yes, he has. In fact, his most famous Detective Comics story was The Black Mirror with Dick Grayson as Batman. Yeah, and it was the last Detective Comics story before they rebooted for the New 52. So I read that story and I fell absolutely in love with his art. And so I started looking up everything this guy had. And he had a blog where every one day of the week, I think it was like Saturdays or Sundays, he called it Pulp Sunday or Pulp Saturday. And he would draw just like one page that he did throughout the whole week of this character, the Black Beetle. And his Black Beetle is a guy who wears black spandex, a black cape. He's got a black hood that goes like Batman style, like up to his nose. And then he's got these big red bulbous eyes, like a beetle would, right? Then he's got like a scarab, a red scarab on his chest. And his only gadget is a ray gun that was taken from the origins are a little unclear because he hasn't really cleared it up, but you seem to think that it's German Nazi tech that he stole. And so he published a little bit, here and there, but finally he published the very first ongoing series, which was only 5 issues, back in, I think it was like 2011 or 2012, and I was all over that. And it was absolutely amazing. It took place in the 1930s. There was like a Nazi plot.
Tailor-made for him. Tailor-made for David.
Yeah. This is perfect for me. It's got like a film noir art style. It's got like an Indiana Jones style, like adventure going on. It's got Wolfenstein style, like advanced tech in the 1930s. This is like the perfect comic book story for me. And he's such a like fly by the seat of your pants Indiana Jones style hero that you can't help but like he just endears himself to you, and he gets the shit kicked out of him all the time, so he's almost like a Captain Kirk who's just constantly landing in this alien prison, and he's got to charm his way out of it, by kissing the green alien chick. So this is kind of what Black Beetle is in this like throwback 30s pulp style comic book. And if you're familiar with Francisco Francavilla's art, like he's got it's weird because it's almost minimalistic, but there's a very reality-based minimalism to it. So like his proportions are perfect. His shadowing is perfect. Like there's a little bit of a throwback to like the old like Joel Shuster Superman comics in the way that he draws people's faces, but there's so much more detail. But the thing is that the detail is always just like out of focus. What was your question?
What's his name again? I'm looking it up.
Francesco Francavilla. Francesco Francavilla. Yeah, and I figured that this was going to happen, so I have here like this is the cover to the hardcover. You know, that's a really good example of his artwork there, where like there's not an awful lot going on.
We also have computers at the palm of our hands, and I looked it up. So.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. This story, if you're looking for something that's really different, but there's nothing there. Oh, there it is. Okay. If you're looking for something that's different, but is also an homage to those pulpy comic books of the 30s, the kind that were coming out right as Superman and Batman and Captain America and these guys were first coming out, where they were taking on not like these world ending threats like a dark side or apocalypse or something like that. You know, they are taking on, you know, Nazis. They're taking on
world type threats, like
exactly. You know, so it's a really great throwback to that sort of stuff. The art is incredible. The plotting is great. There's a really great twist that comes in the third act, which is just fantastic. And it's a great sort of mystery. You know, if you enjoy playing Clue, you'll enjoy this. You know, if you enjoy reading detective novels, you'll enjoy this.
Cool.
All right. Black Beetle from Dark Horse. All right. Daniel, hit me with number 2.
My number 2 is also from Wildstorm, but does not exist in the DC universe. This is a character in a series that were created by a guy who I honest to God believe every single thing he's ever written should be turned into a movie or a TV show. I almost didn't put this because I think it could make a great TV show too, but I think for everything that happened, the movie universe is where it's better suited. My number 2 is Mitchell Hundred, also known as the Great Machine from Ex Machina, by Brian K. Vaughan.
What's the pick?
I've never read this.
Okay, so the comic is called Ex Machina. The actual character's name is Mitchell Hundred, the Great Machine, but the comic is called Ex Machina. Mitchell Hundred is a guy who he is an engineer, and then a explosive device of unknown origin goes off, and it gives him the ability to communicate with any and all types of machines, basically as long as it has moving parts. But what's genius about it is he doesn't control them. He literally communicates with them like they're sentient beings. So if a criminal has a gun pointed at him, he can't just be like, no, you don't shoot. He has to be like, hey, you could not shoot me, and that would be awesome. And the gun then decides whether or not it's going to shoot him.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, it's incredible. He lives in a world where he is the only superhero, and this is not giving anything away because it's the very first thing that happened, but he gets elected as mayor of New York City. So he's mayor of New York City. He's the only superhero in his world. And he's got this incredible ability to communicate with machines. And like I said, they don't always do what he says. They straight up lie to him sometimes. And he's got a rocket pack. He's got a look that's almost Rocketeer like, but he's got like bug eyes.
Dave is in.
Behind that.
Dave is in.
Yeah, I'm in. You said Rocketeer.
Dave's hard. Dave is hard right now. He's got a chub.
He's got a rocket pack, and it's one along the lines like we were talking earlier with Invincible, where this is a story where the whole thing's told. So it's not something where they have to worry about catching up to the books and then trying to come up with something new. The entire story of Mitchell 100 is out there and exists. And like I said, it's absolutely incredible. The books were always really cool. Like the art style on it was really, really good. It's had a couple of different guys who have done the art. Jim Lee did it a little bit here and there, but it was mostly Tony Harris. And it's a book that's a lot of fun to read because he's not in a superhero-filled world. But it's not like he has super strength. So kind of like you were talking about with the Black Beetle guy, a lot of the problems that he comes up against, the villains that he fights, they feel real. And they feel like something that might really happen, and that this version of Earth is just fortunate to have him. The storyline of him being mayor, and everybody knows that he is the superhero and also mayor.
They know who he is.
Yes, no, they know exactly who he is. But there's a lot of really cool things that just happen. It's a great story to tell. Like I said, Brian K. Vaughan is one of, if not my favorite comic book writers ever. I love everything he's
Swamp Thing
done.
saga is incredible.
So good. Plus, I think, ones that there's plenty that he's done that I think would make incredible TV shows, like Why the Last Man and Saga. I think those are TV shows. So that's why, Brian, that's why I went with this one, because I think the scope of this one makes it a great movie, because there are a lot of really solid stories to tell here where you can grab two trades and read through them, and you can see one really good movie to be had in there. I honestly do think, outside of just the Rocketeer thing, Dave, I think you would like this book a lot. It's very well written. It's an extremely fun book to read, and the characters, just like anything else with Brian K. Vaughan, the characters are incredible. And if you could write them into a movie, this would be a superhero movie not carried by the action, not carried by the giant Act 3 fight sequences. This would very much be a movie carried by the characters if done well. And I think that's where the fun comes in with doing an Ex Machina movie.
It looks and sounds awesome, man.
Oh, it's incredible. I love this. It was the first Marvel book that I read by Brian K. Vaughan, when then I became obsessed with him. I fell in love with him reading Runaways, and then found Ex Machina, and it's incredible. You can usually find the first 100 days, which is the first trade, for super cheap at a comic book store. I highly recommend anybody pick it up. But I think this would be a great movie. I think it would be a lot of fun to watch. I think that it would have a lot of appeal for a lot of people, because there's just a really great story here to tell.
All right, man. Right on. Ish, have you ever heard of this or no?
I've heard of Ex Machina. I've never read it. Like I had no idea what it was about. Honestly, I probably thought it was about androids.
Yeah. I think I just think about the movie that came out, and I was like, I'll just do that. All right. All right, Ish, what's your number 2, bro?
All right, for my number 2, like magic, say her name backwards and she appears, Zatanna.
Zatanna.
Nice.
All right, go ahead. She's high on your list.
Yeah, I have just always loved that character. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I think it may come back to the fact that, when I started reading comics way back in the, 1980s, she was part of the Justice League. She was part of what they called the satellite era of the Justice League back then. And there was just something about the costume. Her costume back then, it was kind of weird. It was like she was wearing a bathing suit, but it had long sleeves, and then she had this little weird headdress thing, and she says magic. She does magic, but has to say everything backwards. But the reality is that that's not really the power. She's just an all-powerful sorceress who uses the backwards incantation thing to focus her energies, so that she's really just whittling it through, not just willy-nilly. The only thing about Zatanna that I would say might be a downside is that I don't think there's ever been like a definitive Zatanna story or a definitive Zatanna arc, aside from the fact that she mind wiped.
I was about to say, Dr. Light.
Dr. Light.
In Identity Crisis.
Yeah. But I choose to overlook that, because to me that seems very out of character for Z. So I just like
you're on a nickname basis, are you? Okay, all right.
She does perform magic in San Francisco. So when I'm not getting superpowers in a trolley,
when you're not avoiding herpes, you are going to magic clubs.
And that's a full-time job in and of itself.
I love Zatanna, man. Again, my introduction to her was either Superman or the Justice League animated series. That was my introduction to her. Then I started reading the comics, and just in the few, she was in the Justice League Dark. Or Dark Justice League, whichever one it was, however you phrase it.
Justice League Dark.
Justice League Dark. And it's
a great story arc too.
That's why I made her my pick, because look, I was gonna go. I'll tell you later, but I was gonna go with another pick, but I was like, this I think would be a great catalyst to the Justice League Dark universe, right? Yep. Like we have her. There's other characters.
Bring back the guy from the Constantine TV show too.
Yeah. Well, he's in Legends. So he's still around. He's great. But I just love this character because I love the fact that she's magical. So as far as cinematically, we don't have anybody in the DC universe cinematically live action that has introduced magic the way Doctor Strange has introduced magic to the Marvel universe. So I think she would be a perfect candidate to introduce magic. And then once you introduce magic into a universe, anything is possible at that point. Like it's just fucking no. I mean, anything is possible.
Well, you did introduce magic with Shazam.
You're right. That is true.
But that's a very specific.
Yeah.
That's almost mythological as opposed to magic. Because it's Solomon, Hermes. So it's more tied to mythology than magic proper.
I get that. Yeah.
When you bring in Zatanna, it's more about the
temptations and spells. Yeah, temptations and spells, and yeah. I'm with you, man. I think it's great. I would love to see her in a movie. I would love to see her own movie. And I love the fact that her dad's this whole thing is. I think there's a lot to be unraveled, and I think it would be great to see that in the movie. I would love that introduction to her and to the Dark Justice League. Yeah,
absolutely. The Justice League Dark. Yeah, and she's a good entry level, street level character. There you go. She's a sorceress. She's not mystical and blah blah,
she's not Sorcerer Supreme.
She's just a magician in Vegas or wherever, that's how she has a job. So it's a little more palatable, I think, to people than if she just shows up as this exotic person from the other realm and blah blah blah. No, she's just I was just grabbing a burger and now I'm off to save the universe.
Yeah, and
let's just face it, she's generally just so hot.
And I was gonna say she wears fishnet stockings. I mean, who the fuck doesn't want to see fishnet stockings for 2 hours in a film?
Team her up with Black Canary. Just call it Fishnets of Justice.
Oh.
Sign me up. Oh man, back on Serinda Swan played her back on Smallville. Oh my.
Love it. Zatanna, fantastic. Zatanna, I'm sorry. All right, so my number 2 is a pick that I know David hates. I know David hates this pick. And he knows that I fucking love this pick. And quite frankly, I mean, I've never had many conversations with people about this character before, aside from David. So I don't know whether I'm in a minority or he's in a minority.
David, do you know who it is?
No, I don't.
But I will say that I would love to see this character. I love the way it was written. I love the way it was drawn throughout the series. But my number 2 is Damian Wayne.
I love Damian. Dude, I love this pick. I love this pick so much.
Ish,
I love
Ish, are you celebrating because you like the pick, or you're celebrating because you're laughing at David's reaction?
I'm celebrating David's reaction. Just
fuck this.
Yeah, he really we've talked about it before. We've talked about like who's your favorite Robins, and we've gone through the whole list or whatever. And there was one conversation I had with David where he refused to put for the listener. Damian Wayne is the current. Is he current? Right? I'm not up to date right now.
Yeah.
But he was the current as far as New 52. He was the current Robin, and he is actually Bruce Wayne's son. Genetically modified, or it was some weird shit where it was him and
Talia al
Ghul's, and then there was some other shit that happened. I don't know what the fuck. Genetically, I don't know what the fuck. Test tube baby. I don't know what. It was a weird thing.
Lazarus pits
and all this shit there. And he was actually created to be an assassin. He was actually an assassin in the League of Assassins, the League of Shadows, and he was a badass. And then when Batman quote unquote didn't die. He went off to some fucking. He was missing. He went missing into some other land, and
missing in time.
I was going to say he was a cowboy at one point.
Right, and Dick Grayson.
Caveman first. Don't forget that.
Well, he's always a caveman if you think about him. And so, but Dick Grayson picked up the mantle of Batman, and then Damian Wayne came to be his Robin, which it played perfect because it was the exact opposite. It was now Robin was this now Batman was this light, hearted, fun cracking jokes kind of character, and Robin was this fucking brooding little prick that he was like bleh, bleh, and it worked fucking perfectly together. And then when Bruce Wayne came back, I thought it worked great, man. I heavily enjoyed the New 52 for many reasons, but one of them being Damian Wayne as a Robin. He is my favorite Robin. I think there are better Robins, maybe. You could make that argument because they have such a huge history and a longer history, but I just really enjoy Damian Wayne kicking ass, taking names, little fucking 13-year-old little kid just kicking ass and taking names. I thought it was fucking great.
So while I'm intrigued by the pick, do you think that there could just be a Damian Wayne movie, or do you just want a Batman movie with Damian Wayne as his Robin?
I want that storyline. I want the storyline of his birth. Batman goes missing, so we have to pick. And I want Damian Wayne. I want that Damian Wayne movie. I want that. That's actually the movie that I want. Now,
I was going to say, I think a Super Sons movie could be fun.
Yes.
See, now Super Sons, I think, would be a good way to introduce Damian. I think that would definitely be the route.
Now, here's the thing. I have never read a Super Sons comic. I follow the artist that does Super Sons because he's done Superman. He's done a bunch of he's a young dude, man. I forget his name already. Again, I'm not like you guys have all these writers' names like fucking, but I follow him on Instagram and he's super fucking fit, which is unfair. You're a fucking artist. You're a comic book artist. You're supposed to be fat and lazy like me. And then he's super fit, but he's always posting all the covers that he does for Super Sons, and I'm always in love with the art. I'm just like, fuck, this is so amazing. But I have yet to pick up a book. But it's from what he writes on his Instagram post, it seems like a great fucking story. So I'm down with that too. But I love Damian, man. I love Damian Wayne.
I will say this, that I think we would get a really interesting Batman movie if we went with his second unofficial introduction in DC Comics history, which is Batman number 666, which flashes forward like 30 years after Bruce Wayne's death, and Damian Wayne is Batman. And he is essentially a deranged Batman that has booby-trapped all of Gotham City to stop crime as it happens simultaneously across the city. And he takes on this sort of demonic Batman role. And the cover is so iconic with him in this sort of like overcoat instead of a cape. And you see the whole city of Gotham in flames.
It's burning behind him, right?
Yeah. It's such a great cover. And this is from...
Is there a PT Cruiser anywhere nearby?
I think it would be really cool to give us a sort of like Elseworlds style film where we get to see Damian be full Damian.
Yeah.
Where he is Batman, like he's not tempered by Bruce or Dick's sort of like, hey, listen, reel it back, buddy. Sheath that katana and let's think about this.
And that's another thing that I love about which, yes, I agree to not to cut off your story. I think that'd be a cool story, a cool movie. But I love that in the comics. I love reading where Batman is like, hey, simmer down a bit. Like, you know what I mean? When you get Batman to be like, fucking calm down. Here's a puppy. Have a fucking coconut smile. Shit. I love that. When you have fucking brooding Bruce Wayne telling you need to simmer down a little bit. I fucking love that. I love the dynamic. I love the fact that he has taught. They're teaching each other. Like he's trying to teach Bruce to be more militant, and Bruce is like, calm the fuck down. And like, I love that he's trying to teach him Bruce is trying to teach him how to be more of a kid. And I love that. Right. I love that whole fucking aspect.
They've done a really great job with Damian in the animated universe, like with Batman versus Robin. And some of those things that they've introduced Damian in the animated universe, they've done an incredible job with them. The animated universe stuff actually turned me on to Damian more so than the comic book stuff.
I'll agree to that as well.
I love any pick that limits Dave's response to be like, sure, I too will agree with that. Why not? All right, so that's my number 2 is Damian, and hold on, Damian, Wayne. So we have, for number 2s, we have Black Beetle, the Dark Horse version. We have Mitchell 100. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah,
all right.
Mitchell 100. That's his name.
Zatanna and Damian Wayne. All right. Let's go to our honorable mentions. What do you got for honorable mentions?
I have the honorable mentions pulled up if you want me to read those first.
Have at it.
Will Watkins says Namor, The Question, Savage Dragon, and Isaiah Bradley. Some really good picks there.
Quite possibly my favorite picks of the honorable mentions.
Yeah, I think so. What was that, Ish?
I wonder which version of The Question he meant.
Was Stephanie Brown the question at one point?
No, Renee Montoya.
Stephanie Brown was Spoiler.
Yeah, Spoiler.
Okay, There we go.
Alex Suarez, or Swarley, as it were, says he has number 1, Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Number 2, Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond with Keaton as Bruce.
He went and gasped.
Yeah. Number 3, Green Lantern. He says either Hal Jordan or John Stewart solo or Lantern Corps. And we've already gotten a Hal Jordan movie, so we would have to move forward then with the best Green Lantern, John Stewart.
And to mention, he said, the Green Lantern Corps, and this, as of the time of this recording, it is very close to being confirmed, not yet confirmed, and we typically in the podcast don't deal with rumors. We like to deal with certainties, but there's the rumor that the Snyder Cut is going to be made and released, and that would include the Green Lantern Corps. So that's the rumor. As of the time of this recording, I'm sure by the time this comes out in 4 weeks, they're like, yeah, that's been confirmed for a month. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, fuck you. We're a few ahead. Go ahead.
Just give me Dig from the Green Arrow show as John Stewart, by the way.
It's fucking great. Yeah.
And then he has as his number 4, the Teen Titans, the Dick Grayson Robin era, or Young Justice, Tim Drake Robin era. Honorable mentions to Batgirl, Green Arrow, and Black Canary together, Silver Surfer, and Wally West, Kid Flash, or The Flash. I really considered putting Wally West on this list, but I thought it would be a cop-out because The Flash, even if it was Barry Allen, had already been in the Justice League movie. We have Jim Frederick, who posted number 4, Demon, number 3, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. That's a great team.
I love that.
Number 2, Dead. Yeah. Okay. Number 2, Dead Man, and number 1, Animal Man, which is a fantastic pick. And
New 52 Animal Man was,
just amazing.
I think it's more TV series than film.
I agree. And then Mike Mercadal has got Spectre, Nova, Moon Knight, and Darkhawk.
Okay.
Moon Knight. That's another TV show.
Moon Knight was Which one?
No, I'm saying that's what I want. Is I want a Moon Knight show.
Yeah, I've never read a Moon Knight comic, but everybody who talks to me about Moon Knight always describes him the same way. They always say, "Oh, he's DC's version. He's Marvel's version of Batman." I'm like, then why the fuck do I want that? Just
until recently when they made him, when they were just like, maybe he's insane and this is all happening in his head, and then it got even better.
Oh, okay. I also like there's a couple clips, and I don't know if these are true, if these are real, because the internet is so fucking good. They have what seems to be snippets of old comic strips of Moonlight having arguments with Dracula, that Dracula owes him money. And I think that's the funniest shit on fucking earth. And again, I don't know because I've never read the comics.
They're both Marvel properties to an extent. So
yeah.
It could be something that happens.
So I've seen a few of those clips and like a few of those images on the internet. And again, I don't know how true they are, but it's one of them is just him walking down steps, and he's like, "Dracula, where are you, you motherfucker?" And there's like the little things bleeped out, and he was like, "Where are you, motherfucker? Give me my money. You owe me. I want my money." And I'm like, "This is the fucking goddamn. This is hilarious. I want this shit." There was another time where he called. Like, I swear to God, there's another clip where
that. Come out, you nerd.
Yeah, he's at the Avengers Tower and he's looking for fucking Dracula, and they're like, what is this? What the fuck? Who are you? And he's like, I'm looking for Dracula. Is he here? He fucking told me he's here. He told me he has my money. And they're like, he's not even an Avenger. What are you fucking talking about? Get out of here. And they kick him out of Avenger Tower just because he's looking for fucking Dracula to pay him his money. Which again, no idea how fucking true those clips are, but fuck, that's hilarious. So,
oh my God, I just found this. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Wait, Dracula isn't an Avenger? That lying fuck.
Yeah. It's so good, man. It's so good. All right. So go ahead. What else? Anybody else?
Well, yeah, we haven't given our own.
No, I meant anybody else on the Facebook. But all right, cool. Yeah. I get you.
No, that's it.
Okay. Dave, what are your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions are here. I had a nice mix of DC and Marvel, but we just talked about Moon Knight, so I'll take him out. So it's just DC. Adam Strange, who I think would be a great like sci-fi pulp, sort of almost like a John Carter of Mars feel.
If it was
Orion from the New Gods. In fact, we can bring all the New Gods in.
All the New Gods.
They brought Steppenwolf in and they teased Darkseid in Justice League, but Orion really is the star of that series.
Teach these damn kids who Jack Kirby is.
Hell yes, and we'll get more of that in a second.
They do a live-action Kirby crackle. I think I would jizz my pants.
I just did thinking about it.
It's the quietest ejaculation ever. It's just like, yeah. I'm coming right now. No, it's happening right now. It's happening. What? Jeez.
That's how they come in NPR.
All right.
Phantom Stranger is another great part of that like mystical magical side of DC Comics that could really be explored, and then the one that Nova edged out just like by a hair, Commandy, who is another Jack Kirby hero. It's in a lot of ways it's very much Planet of the Apes, but explored to the nth degree, where it's not just apes, but it's so much more. And Commandy himself is such a like an incredible hero. He's a teenage boy who's somehow survived, all of these thousands of years of nuclear fallout, and he comes out of a bunker, thousands of years after this war, and he's like, oh, so this is the world, and then he just tries to survive in this world that is filled with all of the crazy trappings that Jack Kirby could think of and throw into one place. Obviously the amazing stuff that he did at Marvel Comics will never be rivaled, but I think that if you want to know what Jack Kirby was really about, you read his DC stuff, where he was given like free reign to do anything. and everything, and no one stopped him. And they were just like, "Yeah, man, do your thing." And it was because of that he came back and had what I think is his best run of Captain America on in Marvel Comics. So yeah, Commandy, man, that was like, if there could be a 4A and a 4B, it would have been Nova and Commandy.
All right. DeBono, honorable mentions?
Yeah, just a couple of them. One, since I think this one only didn't make the cut because they didn't go teams, but The Invisibles by Grant Morrison, I think would be an incredible movie. Again, hard R, but very, very good. One that I'm sure Dave would like to argue with me about, but we're not going to do right now. I want a damn Kyle Rayner movie. I do. I love Kyle Rayner.
I like Kyle.
The evolution of Kyle Rayner was an absolutely incredible just run from beginning to end. Hercules, I think, could be a lot of fun to add to the Marvel universe.
Yeah, but there's been Hercules movies already.
Not Marvel's Hercules.
Oh, there's Hercules in New York? There's Hercules...
That one was good. And one that actually I thought of just at the very beginning when David was talking about Richard Rider, but Rom the Space Knight.
Oh, so much, yes. I didn't even remember this until right now.
Rom Space Knight could be a lot of fun, especially if introduced in like a Richard Rider movie. So I'm gonna throw Rom in there.
Great honorable mention.
All right. Ish, what do you got honorable mentions?
I only got 2 honorable mentions because, quite frankly, I kind of forgot about the honorable mentions until like 10 minutes before we were logging on. So I'm going to echo one of the sentiments on the Facebook, which is a Blue and Gold movie, Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that dynamic. It's buddy cops with superpowers. You know, it's a cop movie with superpowers. And you can
$1 billion.
$1 billion. Best thing ever. But you can even expand upon it. You know, eventually, like maybe introduce some of the lesser league heroes, right? You know, you can introduce, Fire, Ice, Elongated Man, and just kind of have these heroes who have to kind of exist almost on call, because like when Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, everybody's off planet and stuff happens, you know what? These are the guys who got to step up.
Call the bullpen.
Yeah, it could be an interesting, approach to that. And another one that I thought of was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Power Pack.
No.
So Power Pack it's from the I think it's late 70s, early 80s. It's about 4 siblings. I think the oldest one is like 12. Through a series of events, they get superpowers. And so there's it's basically a family of it's 4 kids and 2 parents. The kids are superheroes, but they keep their powers hidden from their parents. So they go off and they have all these adventures. I think at one point they even go to Asgard. They are best friends with Franklin Richards, who's the son of Reed Richards and Sue from the Fantastic Four. And so they're kind of steeped in the Marvel universe, but they exist in this little kid-friendly corner. And so it would be a great gateway drug, if you will, to kind of present this wish fulfillment element of superheroics, which is really the reason sidekicks were even created in the first place. And it's a family film, and it's fun, and it could be cutesy, and still even be connected to the Marvel universe, but in a very different way.
You just described PJ Masks, but I'm all right with it. I'm super fucking down with it. As a parent,
no, we watch a lot of PJ Masks.
As someone who doesn't have kids, I'm not familiar with PJ Masks. So.
Yeah, PJ Masks, dude. Oh. Look it up. You love that shit. That shit is in.
Dude, it's so great.
It is.
So great. We watch so much PJ Masks.
It's so great. I have kids. I have 2 kids. I have one that's 8 and 5, so they've been into PJ Masks at different parts of their lives. So when the 8-year-old, when the show first started, my now 8-year-old was probably around 4 or 5 at that age, and so she grew out of it just in time for my son to now get into it. I'm like, all right, let's keep fucking watching. Let's keep doing this. It's great. My honorable
Ninjalitos.
Oh my god, it's so great. Ninjalinos. My honorable mentions are from the Green Lantern Corps, Chip. Yeah, the squirrel. Yeah, the squirrel. I don't give a fuck. The squirrel.
I'll put that cat from the Red Lanterns too. Test me.
From Justice League. From Justice League Dark, we have Detective Chimp, and then Squirrel Girl. So I want them all in a fucking.
God, I was so hoping we'd make it through this whole episode
No, of
without
course
anybody
not.
saying that.
I'm totally fucking kidding. She's awful. Listen, then my fourth honorable mention is Arm Fall Off Boy, because I have to have Arm Fall Off Boy in there. That's it.
I seriously went into this episode and I was like, I will be so happy if we can make it through this whole thing without anybody.
No, she's awful. We don't got to keep talking about it. Just keep moving. She's awful. She's awful. That was a complete joke, and I'm more interested in talking about the dude that was with a fucking saxophone, getting powers from a fucking saxophone. All right, number one.
Round one. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Do it! Do it! Come on! Come on!
All right, number one. Let's go have at it. David, what do we got for number one, man?
My number one is one that you will all know. So I guess there's that positivity to it. Is this off?
No. I'm guessing that it might be my number one too.
Okay, so this is a character that I have loved for a long time. Because one of the very first comic books that I ever read featured a team up with him and Batman, and it's Deadman.
Oh, not my number one, but I do love Deadman.
You went Boston Brand, okay.
Boston Brand. I have been a Deadman fan since as far back as I can remember, and his story is sad. His story is. It's amazing. It's because there's so much philosophy and theology that goes into it. But it's also one of these stories that DC has decided to tell in spurts, because you got like a great amount of Deadman stories early on in the late 60s and the early 70s with the Neil Adams stuff, and then there was nothing for a long time, and then he kind of came back a little bit in the 80s, and then he went away again, and he kind of came back a little bit in the 90s, which is when I started reading him, and then he went away again, and he's this hero who he's so alone.
Did you see the Justice League Dark movie, the animated movie?
So I haven't seen it yet.
It's in the family share, bro.
Is it? Okay. I read the story arc that it was based on. And
that's going to be better. That's going to be better. But my point is, you should still watch the movie.
I know I should.
Yeah.
I know I should. But the whole reason why I picked up Justice League Dark in the first place was because he was in it. And I'm a huge Swamp Thing fan. And Swamp Thing was on the cover as well. But what immediately caught my eye was Deadman.
I didn't know who Deadman was until I didn't know who Deadman was until the animated movie, where I was like, oh, okay, because I mean, he's been in a couple of Justice League Dark the comics, but not like he wasn't. I've only known him. I've only started reading from the New 52, but in the movie he's fantastic.
He is, and that's if they portray him the way that he is in the comics, that's very true to who he is. What I love about Deadman, though, is that if you go back to the pre-Crisis days and immediately following Crisis on Infinite Earths, his is a story that does not change with Crisis on Infinite Earths. So his story is exactly the same. He starts off as a trapeze artist who is murdered during an act, right? And it tells you on the very first cover of his Strange Tales number 103 or 105, something like that, and it says this man was just murdered. That one right there, yeah. And the whole next maybe 20, 30 issues is him trying to figure out what happened to him. He's brought back to life by Ramakrishna, right? And so he gives, which is a Hindu goddess, and he basically devotes his whole life, afterlife, as it were, to her, right? But at a certain point, he starts to feel lost, where he feels like she's abandoned him. he can't interact with anyone as Boston Brand. He can only interact with them by taking possession of someone else's body. And so eventually, like, he grows tired of that, right? He starts just, fucking around with people for a while. But he what you get is eventually a dead man that is so alone, but cannot die, that he can't even take his own life, right? So he's so broken when my favorite dead man story arc takes place, where he goes back to the circus somehow, ends up back at the circus that he initially died, and finds another ghost who can see him. And they develop this loving relationship until you realize that it's all a ruse and that she's using him to gain access to the material world. And it's
he got catfished. He got catfished.
Yeah. It's such a sad story. And then when he finally meets up with Batman, which is where I first read him, he's like totally broken, and Batman has to kind of work him back to reality.
I love any character that Batman has to be like, hey, man, why don't you snap out of it? Come on. Stop being a bitch.
Batman is the voice of reason.
Yeah. And when Batman has to be like, hey, stop being a bitch. Come on. Stop. Pick your shit up. Pick it up.
So, Dead Man is amazing. He's awesome. He would make my mountain of DC superheroes. Like there's Dick Grayson, there's Wally West, and then there's Boston Brand for me.
It's such a great pick, and I love Dead Man. But I don't know enough about Dead Man outside of just knowing him from other things. I know him from Justice League Dark. I know him from his amazing role in Blackest Night.
Blackest Night. Yeah,
his amazing role in Blackest Night, and actually taking control of Etrigan at one point, and emerging as a White Lantern. Like,
that's his role in Brightest Day and Blackest Night is exactly what his entire story is, because he is powerless against the Black Lanterns turning his physical body into a Black Lantern, and he has to sit there and watch like, that's not me, I'm me, but he can't tell anyone this. It's such a powerful story.
Yeah, it was incredible.
All right, that's great, man. Daniel, what do you got for number one?
Well, when he started to say something about Batman, I thought that we might have the same number one. Just from talking with you guys, I thought this one might pop up to somebody else's list. But my number one, the one I immediately knew was going to be on this list, is Dick Grayson, Nightwing.
My number one as well.
Hell yeah.
I think that Nightwing is a character that a lot of people know and a lot of people love. I think that there are far too many amazing Nightwing storylines out there. I think that too often people don't think of Nightwing as being a Batman level superhero, as evidenced by the fact that, when he died, they're like, oh, we should, obviously Dick Grayson should be the new Batman. No, he really shouldn't. It should have been Jason Todd. That's a whole other thing. But Nightwing is just absolutely incredible. There's an amazing story there to tell. You don't have to do a ton of backstory because everybody's familiar with Dick Grayson. Yep. And you create this story of this man trained by Batman, and he goes out and finds his own city to protect, and then does it amazingly. Does it with all the skill and technique of Batman without any of the, psychopathy and things that go.
DCU.
Yeah, just you. There's so many great things to do there. You introduce a new town. There's the great element of the fact that he becomes a bartender because he's just trying to be a street level guy and he wants to know what's going on. And being a bartender, that's how you find that out.
And then he becomes a mom.
Yeah, exactly. Nightwing will forever be my favorite DC character. Dick Grayson, I think, is a great Robin. He's not my favorite Robin, but as Nightwing, Dick Grayson is just perfect. There's an amazing story to tell here. There's the stuff with him and Barbara Gordon as Oracle. there's just so much amazing material here that lends itself. We know that Batman movies work. So now you just step outside of that box. You create a new Batman franchise, but without Batman, and you make it with Nightwing, and you can tell the stories in a very different way because Dick Grayson is a sane person. So you can tell those stories of guy who's just become the best at what he does and has a bankroll without the grumbly voice and just the absolute insanity that goes with being obsessed with bats and terrifying people and things like that. Nightwing is the best Batman. And I'm not saying Dick Grayson as Batman. I'm saying Nightwing is the ultimate version of Batman. So I think that this is the story that GC needs to find a way to tell.
But he's also the best Batman.
He's also the best Batman. Batman is also out of all the superheroes, Batman's the only superhero who doesn't have his city in check. Every other superhero has their fucking city in check.
That's the truth. When in the comics, when Nightwing went back to be Batman, it was because there's no crime in Bloodhaven anymore because I'm good at my job.
Hey Bruce, maybe you want to change your fucking techniques up a bit, huh? Maybe you want to fucking just take a course, listen to a TED Talk for God's sake.
Right,
something. Holy shit.
Now, the one reason I have an issue with Dick Grayson becoming Batman is the same reason that I never really wanted Sam Wilson to become Captain America, because I didn't like this idea that Nightwing and Falcon are second-tier superheroes, and it's an upgrade to become Batman or to become Captain America. And I don't think that going from being Nightwing to being Batman is an upgrade. I honestly think you should have just gone to Gotham and then protected it as Nightwing. Or like I said, you make Jason Todd Batman. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
I will say this though, is that your thought on that is not wrong, but remember that the people of Gotham don't know.
Yeah,
that Batman is dead. Well, and so someone has to carry that mantle for the villains to continue. Respecting the symbol of Batman,
right? Which is why it should have been Jason Todd, and it could have.
But they don't respect the symbol of Batman. The fucking
and there's a redemption story. There's a redemption story there, and you're not down. It doesn't seem like you're throwing shade at Nightwing. But anyway, it's issues number 1, 2, and I'll let him talk.
Ish, hit me. Nightwing, talk to me.
Nightwing, listen. I have dressed up as Nightwing for Halloween. I have a Nightwing tattoo right here.
Nice.
Dick Grayson is my all-time favorite superhero.
I have a tattoo of the word Grayson on my dick, which, I mean, only certain people will get what that means, but yeah.
No, I mean, you should get that checked,
actually. Grayson would not fit. It was just a G. It was just a G. But we know what that means. We know what that stands for.
We're in the know. But no, I mean, since I have memory of life, my favorite superhero has always been Dick Grayson. Started off as Robin, and and it's also because my favorite team being the Titans, the new Teen Titans from way back Wolfman Perez era. I followed that trajectory of the Dick Grayson character. So it's also, I think that's another reason why it could work, because this is a character who, in this suspended time of comic books and superheroes, this is a character who's actually allowed to grow. It's not somebody who is like, okay, I'm Batman. I've been Batman for the last 90 years, and I'm going to be for the next 90 years. This is somebody who theoretically you saw learn. And to Dan's point, look at what Bruce was and say, okay, that doesn't work for me. It's almost like, I mean, really, it's a father and son relationship at the end of the day, where it's like, you look toward him for the role model, but you also pick and choose what you emulate as you grow older. And also, we just need more superheroes who are, quite frankly, very well known for having the best ass in the DC comics.
Exactly.
Legit.
I mean, you brought up Midnighter. In one of the Grayson comic books, when he was briefly a spy for Spiral, there's literally a panel where Midnighter knows that it's Grayson even when he's in disguise because he saw him earlier and he recognized him by his ass, like a gay man would. So
that was early on. That was like issue 2 or something.
Yeah, it was like issue 2 or something. Yeah. So that needs to be on the silver screen, frankly.
I love that they've even referenced that in like the Teen Titans Go cartoon.
Oh yeah,
when Starfire's sister showed up and like that's all she cared about. Robin was his butt. It's like, it's always very well drawn.
It is. It's the one thing everybody can agree on.
There's only one reason why Dick Grayson isn't my number 1 as well, because the first person I thought of was Dick Grayson. And it's because I put that rule on myself where the character could not have appeared in a movie, in another live action feature film. I kind of hated to put that rule on myself because it took Dick Grayson out of the equation, but it also took so many other heroes out of the equation that helped me narrow this down.
Right.
Because otherwise, I could have been Colossus, it could have been Beast, it could have been all the fucking X-Men. Just give them their own movie.
Except Wolverine.
But except Wolverine. But give me a Dick Grayson movie all day, every day. And don't give me the origin. Just fucking drop me in a random Tuesday in Bloodhaven, and I'm there. I'm there for the ride.
And if you've never seen it on YouTube, it's like 5 or 6 episodes. It's a fan-made Nightwing series that's absolutely incredible. It's a guy that back when we did What's Good, we used to try to reach out to get him to be on the show all the time. His YouTube name is Isma Hawk, ISMA Hawk. But it's absolutely incredible. Like I said, they did 1 season of it, never came back. Production values through the roof. You got to check it out. It'll take you like an hour to watch them all.
All right.
Sounds good to me. All right. So my number 1. Just a quick backstory. I was gonna pick Batman Beyond as one of my picks. He was gonna be either number 4 or number 3. And the reason I did not is because I realized if I would have done that, there would have been 4 picks that were all from the Batman universe. And I can't fucking have that. Because my number 3 was Damian Wayne. And it would have been Batman Beyond. And then my number 1 is Batgirl. I need a fucking Batgirl movie. I was excited when they had what's his name tied to directing the movie.
Oh, Whedon.
Yeah. And then he dropped out of the project, which made me sad. Which is a lot for a long time. For a while there, it's all what DC gave me was sadness with their films. Not with their films, just with their politics of their film. To be honest with you, I know I'm in a minority for the vast geekdom, but I like the DC movies for the most part, for a lot of the parts. I just don't like the drama that we all always hear about is the drama in behind the scenes of shit. It's like, oh, fucking it. Jesus, just get your shit together, guys. Maybe don't
Are you talking like purple suit, yellow boots, Batgirl?
Yes.
Like
it has to be. It has to be. It has to be purple suit, yellow boots, boots on the ground, boots on asses, boots to asses, as The Rock would say. I fucking love the Batgirl. I love her shit. I know Dave has told me before that he likes Barbara Gordon better as Oracle than he does as Batgirl.
I do.
That's my only issue is, and I know that a lot of that has to do with when I was introduced to Barbara Gordon. She was already Oracle, so for me, Barbara Gordon is Oracle. As far as comic books go, because I had seen obviously the Batman '66 show.
Right.
But that's not really Barbara Gordon.
Right.
That's a satirical Barbara Gordon.
That's the real Barbara Gordon, she was created for the show.
That's true.
What's that?
That is actually the real Barbara Gordon because Batgirl was created for the show.
Oh, was she really?
Yeah.
Well,
interesting. All right. So never mind.
But what I would say,
turns out the one I like is a parody.
to piggyback of what you said, Dave, I'm totally in agreement with you. The reason why I like Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, as purple suit, yellow boots, is because, again, the New 52 for me was the first time, and I've said this before in previous episodes years ago, but to the listener, I've been a comic book fan all my life, but I've been broke all my life. I've been poor my entire life, and it wasn't until the New 52 that came out that I was able to afford to buy whenever I wanted to buy a comic, but B, I had an iPad, and it was like perfect. It was almost like comics were made for iPads, because it was this thing where I didn't have to worry about storage, and I didn't have to worry about where to put it, and it came out in a time where I was still living at home with my mom, because I was only 28. Fuck you. And it was this thing with New 52 for me. I really connected with the New 52 for a multiple of reasons, all of which were just happenstance. It just happened to be that I was at a certain age where I had a job of my own and I could afford my own comic books, and I didn't have to depend on my mom, who was poor as fuck, to come up with money to throw away on comics. And that's how she would say it, to throw away on comics. So New 52 Batgirl is what I want. That's like that whole fucking storyline, that whole thing is fantastic. So.
The way that they redid Barbara Gordon and Batgirl for New 52 was absolutely incredible, and it did make her a character who was much more than just a sidekick in the Bat family. She very much did come into her own at that time. That's the best Barbara. That's why as soon as you said it, I was like, okay, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it's an incredible fit.
I think a lot of that has to do with them building off of the oracle of it all. You know what I mean? The personality, because they realize if we're going to do this, we need to keep that same level-headedness, that same personality that people fell in love with. Because if we all of a sudden put her back into sidekick role, people were like, there would be riots in the street. So
yeah,
part of it too.
Yeah, man. So that's my number one. So number ones, we had Deadman, Nightwing, and Batgirl. So the repeats that we had were Nightwing and Zatanna, right?
Yep.
That's the only Nightwing.
I expected a Nightwing repeat. I did not expect a Zatanna.
Well,
like, gonna be honest with you, I expected somebody else was gonna have Nightwing. I didn't think somebody else was gonna have Zatanna.
The only reason, again, and not the only reason, but Zatanna almost didn't make my list only because of that. If it was either gonna be Nightwing in that category or Batman Beyond, and both those are Batman universe, and I decided to go with Zatanna because I was like, you already have Batgirl and Damian Wayne. I'm like, it's fucking, you can't do all of this. So spread it a little bit, which I've heard before from dudes. All right, so what are the other picks do you think that should make the final mountain? Because we got Nightwing and we have Zatanna. So what other picks do you guys think we should go with? I mean,
well, I was going to recommend that we go with our number ones because two of them are Nightwing. And then we can do Batgirl, Deadman, and Zatanna.
You can't because that would be five. That would be 5 picks.
No, that's 4 picks, sir.
Nightwing, Zatanna, Deadman, and Batgirl. So obviously, I'm holding up 4 fingers, so that means all 4 fingers. I wanted to fight for Lobo, but your logic makes sense. So Deadman.
So.
Batgirl.
As you finalize the final mountain there, as of the day that we're recording this, did you guys see that Ruby Rose just walked away from Batwoman?
As of today,
today,
really? Yeah, today she just did that.
Yeah,
the news came out today.
No great loss to the show.
I've only seen like a couple episodes here and there. I'm not super emotionally attached. It just seems wild.
I don't dislike the show. I just have zero attachment to her existence. Like
Cassandra Cain or Ruby Rose?
Ruby Rose.
Oh, okay.
Ruby Rose, like, it's just like, oh, Ruby Rose. And like, she just looks like a pouty Justin Bieber with slightly bigger boobs. Like, I don't like if a lesbian was just like, oh, she's so hot, I'd be like, so you're straight? Because I mean, and she's not a good actress. She's there. She kind of gets the job done.
What does that say about me that I'm quote unquote straight and I think she's hot? Does that mean Oh shit!
We'll talk about that off.
Fuck.
We'll talk about that on our trolley ride in San Francisco.
Damn it, man!
I'm gonna hang up and listen.
So that's our number ones, man. We have the final number ones. We have Nightwings, Zatanna, Deadman, and Batgirl. Thank you guys for checking us out. Ish, thank you for coming back to the show. Make sure you check out Ish. He's the co-host of the Better Let Me Tell You podcast that could be found on the Geek Bro Network. So go to geekbro.net. All of the Better Let Me Tell You episodes are on there. I'm super jealous of all, like, you get these guests that I was like, oh, they do that shit? They do podcast? They do local podcast? What the fuck, dude? Yeah, so you got Guillermo from What They Do in the Shadows, What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah, he's fucking
nice.
It's great, man. Fantastic. You have a lot of great guests on there. So go check that podcast out at geekbro.net. Check out Daniel DeBono's other podcast at geekbro.net as well. It's called What You Got. Daniel, are you guys doing shit now? Are you guys, I know you've been...
Yeah, well, we're trying to get it scheduled out right now. The bars just reopened in Tuscaloosa, and everybody's running extra staff right now because of all the cleaning things we have to do. So getting our schedules to line up right now is a huge pain because one of us is always working.
Yeah. All right, so check that out. And Dave, thank you again. Obviously, this is your podcast, so thanks for coming because it's yours. Check out my comedy at naryscience.com or whatwashisname.com. At the time of this recording, I'm taking part of a national roast battle, but that will be long gone once this airs in a month and a half. So thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you check out geekbro.net, and that's how winning is done. Or that's how lists are made.